Carmen and Oscar?
No, I'm
Elsie. Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you all to this morning's budget hearing at Sunnyslope Community Center. We're here today to talk about the proposed 25-26 trial budget. However, before we begin, I'd like to introduce our interpreters. I believe we have Elsie Duarte and Oscar Monroy.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. As Jeff said, my name is Elsie, and I'll take a moment to introduce our Spanish-speaking audience. Buenos días, bienvenidos a la sesión informática del presupuesto municipal. Mi nombre es Elsie, junto con mi colega Oscar Monroy estaremos sirviéndoles con la interpretación a nuestra audiencia habla hispana. Para escuchar la reunión en español, favor de pasar a la mesa al frente, a la entrada de la sala, por unos auriculares. Las personas que pasen al frente a hacer su comentario, sepa que podrán hablar libremente sin interrupciones. Sus comentarios serán interpretados al momento que usted termine de hablar. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsie. Now I'd like to turn it over to our illustrious council member from District 3, Councilwoman Deborah Stark, to say a few words.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you being here. Your comments really are important, and I will tell you they do make a difference. Last year, we had several organizations in the sport of cricket come to our hearings, and they advocated for a cricket field. And sure enough, we're building one, and we also now have some, I think they're called pitch practice fields, and they really, it's a growing sport, and they made their case and very excited, and so you do make a difference. You really do. So we're really anxious to hear what you have to say today. After we hear all the comments, and we hear all the comments from the other hearings, Jeff will compile and let the council know some of the direction that we heard from our public members. So thank you for being here.
So as the councilwoman said, you know, your input that we hear today is very important to us. As she's mentioned throughout the years, the input has altered and affected and changed the budget and our allocations to different programs and services. We definitely want to hear your input. There are numerous ways for you to do that. You can do that here today through our budget hearings. You can also do that by submitting comments through the Budget and Research Department, as well as contacting your council office. Today's information will be incorporated, like the councilwoman said, and presented to the council so they understand all the comments that we received throughout the course of our budget hearing process. We are then scheduled to present to the council again on May 6th, where I will present the city manager's revised budget, and then on May 21st, the council will take action on that budget. So there is ample time for additional consideration and conversations to be had about where we're allocating and proposed allocations in our budget. However, before we start today, I do want to turn it over. We're going to show a brief video, and so I'd like to do that, and then we'll take your comments.
The city of Phoenix thrives because of the services we all rely on, from keeping our neighborhoods safe to offering enriching programs and maintaining vital infrastructure. And like any well-run household, planning for the future starts with the budget. Right now, the city of Phoenix is developing its budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026, a roadmap of how we'll allocate resources to best serve our community. This isn't a process that happens overnight. Throughout the year, city departments work hard to estimate the costs of maintaining the services we currently enjoy. Then in March, the city manager proposes a preliminary budget, a trial budget, that carefully balances estimated resources with projected expenses. This important document is now ready for everyone to look at. Your voice matters. In April, the city actively seeks your input through community budget hearings, by phone, email, and even on social media. This feedback is crucial to ensuring the budget reflects the priorities of our residents and the City Council. Then in May, the City Council will carefully consider all this input before voting on the budget, with legal adoption scheduled in June. Finally, the property tax levy ordinance will be adopted in early July. To understand the budget, it's helpful to know how it's structured. Think of it as three main accounts. The general fund is like our main checking account. It supports many of the core services you see every day: our libraries, parks, senior and youth programs, and critical police and fire services. This fund is made up of revenue from things like general sales tax, property taxes, and a portion of state income, sales, and vehicle taxes, as well as some fines and fees. Then there are enterprise funds. These operate more like businesses, charging those who directly use their services. This includes departments like Water Services, Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, and Solid Waste. Finally, special revenue funds are like accounts with specific instructions. These funds are earmarked for particular purposes, often coming from grants or voter-approved sales taxes dedicated to things like parks and preserves, transportation, and public safety. Now let's talk about the current budget situation. Like many cities, Phoenix is facing some financial headwinds. Over the next few years, we're looking at potential structural deficits, primarily due to actions taken at the state level and rising costs. Recently, the state eliminated the ability for cities to collect residential rental sales tax, and they also lowered the individual income tax rate. These changes mean less ongoing revenue coming into the city. But this is where careful planning and proactive measures come in. Our city staff and leadership have been working diligently to find solutions to ensure we maintain a balanced budget as required by state law and to ensure the city can continue to deliver to residents existing services without cutting programs or filled jobs to balance the budget. To make sure the budget can stay balanced, offset the losses from state actions to reduce our revenues, provide the necessary resources to protect current programs, and provide the funds necessary for critical adds to the budget, several strategies are included in this trial budget. The City Council voted on March 18th to increase the transaction privilege tax rate from 2.3% to 2.8% effective July 1st, 2025. This will generate revenue to pay for programs and services. Reprioritize the current general fund budget to reduce expenditures without impacting service delivery or filled jobs, and provide capacity to add higher priority items. Set aside projected resources to help balance future budgets and protect against any economic slowdown or further impacts from the state to limit local control and further reduce our revenues. Use excise tax proceeds to finance large public safety capital and infrastructure projects, including 2 new fire stations and additional apparatus. Now let's talk about what this budget means for some key services. For the Phoenix Fire Department, there's a proposal for additional funding to reduce emergency response times. This includes hiring more firefighters to staff existing and new fire stations and new apparatus. Addressing homelessness remains a critical priority. The proposed budget includes revised estimates of $4.5 million in general fund resources for the Office of Homeless Solutions in 2025-26. This funding is needed because some of the federal pandemic-era funding is ending. This money will help continue shelter operations at places like Rio Fresco, the Phoenix Navigation Center, and the Washington Shelter, as well as support heat relief efforts for our unsheltered neighbors. Looking ahead, the budget also proposes a $5.6 million addition to the non-general fund budget for the Water Services Department. This would fund the reopening of the Cave Creek Water Reclamation Plant, allowing the city to expand its capacity for wastewater treatment and water purification, ensuring we can meet future needs. These are thoughtful strategies aimed at addressing the financial challenges while protecting the vital services that make Phoenix a great place to live, work, and visit. Our city employees, from our dedicated first responders to the professionals managing our parks and libraries, are deeply committed to serving this community and always have your best interests at heart. They work hard every day to ensure Phoenix remains a vibrant and thriving city. We understand that discussing budget figures can sometimes feel overwhelming. But know that the City of Phoenix has a long history of responsible budgeting. By engaging in this process together, With your input and the careful work of city professionals, we are confident that we will continue to deliver the essential services you expect and deserve, building a stronger Phoenix for tomorrow.
So before we begin, I'm calling up names. I want to do a few housekeeping items. If you do wish to speak at today's meeting, we ask that you fill out a speaker card and provide it to the staff at the back, and they'll bring it up so we can call your name. We are going to limit comments to 2 minutes, so there's a timer to my left. We are also asking that you come to this microphone so that we can get you on video, so that when we show these back to the community, that your comments are reflected accurately on video as well. If you don't want to speak, but you still want comments to be reflected, you can also fill out one of these speaker cards and just check no that you don't wish to speak. So with that, I'll call out the first name. The first name is Masavi Perea.
Buenos días, good morning, everyone. Masavi Perea. I'm a very proud Sunnyslope neighbor, and I'm here to support the investment that will make our city a better place to live. And of course, I want to express my gratitude for prioritizing environmental investments. Normally, well, I'm not only a neighbor from Sunnyslope, but also I'm a member of Chispa, Arizona, which is an environmental justice advocacy group. So normally I will speak about the environmental racism and discrimination that our neighborhoods have suffered. But today I want to talk about supporting the focus that these investments can have on racial justice and equity. We need to have a better transportation. This 10 million is an opportunity for us to push for a free and electric public transit system. I mean, we have learned from other cities that they have free public system, and that brings more people utilizing our public system. We need our neighborhoods more walkable. We need more trees in our in our neighborhoods, parks, and of course we need cool corridors. We have the opportunity. We have these 7 millions. I want to be able to walk on Hatcher, on Cape Creek, on 7th Street, right? That's my neighborhood. I want to walk, bike, use public, reliable and public transportation in Sunnyslope. Safety for me, for my family, and for my community means complete streets, good parks, walkable neighborhoods, not criminalized communities. Work together for a cooler neighborhoods. And we all know that Phoenix is getting hotter, but let's make it cooler. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Jenny Ann Sumner.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity. The availability of the 24/7 Park Ranger phone number provides a valuable tool to the neighborhoods. Thank you. With more than 4,800 miles of public streets and only 34 motorcycle officers, slowing down, my husband assures me, saying, "Slow down, Snoopy Head" is no longer working, and we definitely need more motor officers. In 2024, the Graffiti Busters program used close to 10,000 gallons of paint and painted over more than 48,500 graffiti sites. While graffiti is a financial burden, we can't afford not to fund Graffiti Busters in the volunteer program. Both of them do phenomenal work. I suggest, though, that there is a need to explore ways to encourage community involvement in reporting and combating graffiti beyond just February. I'm always impressed with the Healthy Giving Council meetings when I attend those, with the support that the City of Phoenix and many of the valuable nonprofits provide. Unfortunately, most of this work and effort is done in isolation, with one group not knowing about the other's services to coordinate referrals. I support either NSD or AHS website listing the organization's name, contact information, and 1 or 2 or 3 sentences on the services they provide for everyone to have access to this information. I support Phoenix Cares, but I oppose any further contracts with community bridges. CBI's work is burdened with a heavy process that limits their response time and results. Instead, I support expanding the combined efforts of NSD's Phoenix Cares Neighborhood Service Specialists and the OHS liaisons as the alternative to CBI. Pam Jones and Victor Rojas know their areas. That makes a tremendous difference. So the response time is faster, and the success rate is helping, and the success rate in helping individuals is impressive. I do have a question, though, please. Previously, 2 medical resource trucks were approved for the fire department. When will these trucks be put in service, please? And on behalf of the 44th Community Alliance, thanks to Mayor Gallego, Councilwoman Stark, City Manager Barton, Parks and Recreation Director Aguilar, NSD Director Self, and OHS Director Milne, police and fire that have supported neighborhoods, neighborhood events, and efforts. We look forward to another fiscal year of your support and great services. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny Ann. Chief, if you could get with Ms. Sumner and answer her question about the MR units. Next up, we've got Chris Murphy.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Chris Murphy, and I'm a resident of Phoenix. I have also proudly served and protected the public for the last 32 years as a Phoenix firefighter. I want to personally recognize and thank City Manager Jeff Barton, Councilwoman Deb Stark, and Mayor Kate Gallego for placing a priority on the safety of our residents and community. Raising taxes is never an easy decision. However, many issues led to this necessity. City leadership has been handcuffed financially with a reduced operating budget by the state lawmakers who decided that a flat income tax and elimination of the rental tax was sound policy. But they don't have to deal with the consequences of these actions, so your hands have been tied. Along with this reduced operating income, an increase in population of over 300,000 people in the last 15 years has stretched our resources in the fire department to the breaking point. This combination of factors has ballooned our response times from 5 minutes to 9 minutes. This TPT increase is an investment in keeping the public safe. It will allow us to build additional fire stations, purchase new fire trucks, and hire more firefighters in order to bring down our response times. In an emergency such as a house fire, a drowning, or a heart attack, when it's your spouse, or your child, or your friend, every second counts. I spent 7 years of my career just down the street protecting the community at Sunnyslope, Fire Station number 7, in the early 2000s. At the time, we were one of the busiest engines in the entire country, and we ran just over 3,000 calls per year, which is considered a crisis level. 20 years later, that same single engine was heading towards 6,000 calls per year if nothing had been done. We took pride in that little brick house, but that station is approaching 75 years old. The new station, which will hold 2 fire trucks and 2 ambulances to double the service capacity, will be completed in the next 2 years. The citizens of Sunnyslope deserve this. As firefighters, we have a long tradition of commitment to saving lives. That tradition will continue into the next generation with my son, who is a new Phoenix firefighter. We just want to have the tools, support, and resources needed to bring down these response times. And your bold action has given us that ability. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, Carson Murphy. He does not want to, oh, I did not see that. All right. We can't encourage Carson to talk? Okay, next speaker is also Liam Bailey does not want to speak. Marcus Goodrich does not want to speak, but they also are talking about fire crisis, so we'll make sure your comments get into the minutes. Joe Moreno says, okay. Same thing. Michael Duffy, same thing, does not wish to speak, fire crisis. Andre Williams.
Good morning. I do not have a prepared speech, so bear with me. Good morning, Councilwoman Stark. Good morning, City Manager Jeff Barton. Good morning, Ms. Williamson. I'm here today, first of all, I'm disappointed that the council would vote to raise taxes prior to hearing feedback from the community. This particular hearing was advertised as being very, very important due to the decrease in rent or the elimination of the rental tax. So it seems like you guys could have held off for a couple weeks, listen to the feedback from the people, and then go and vote on to raise taxes. Secondly, I wanted you. My concern is with the growth of general government. I handed out some of these sheets to some of our audience members. So I'm hoping you guys can address the growth in government. From 2016 to 2024, 25, there's been an increase in about $150 million going to the general government. So if you guys don't know what general government is, it's everything not public service, it's not community services, it's not enterprises, right? It's the high end, it's the top, the top floor executive departments, right? It's the city manager's office, it's the council's office, it's finance, it's law. It's all those departments that do not have a direct impact on the growth, the infrastructure of the city. So just in this government alone, there's been a growth of impersonal services, almost 100% growth since 2016. And in contractor services, there's been a growth of about 222%. So we're increasing headcount in city employees. We're also increasing the number of contractor services that are required. So I'm not sure if we're hiring individuals that are unable to take upon the workload that's required, because it seems if you're increasing headcount for city employees, you should have to decrease contractor services. I don't think they both go in the same direction. So if you guys can address the growth in general government, that'd be highly appreciated.
Next speaker is Elizabeth Venable.
Oh my goodness, I hope we haven't run out of speakers. I have speakers coming, unfortunately. I don't know, maybe they can submit comment cards. Anyway, so, excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't want to do that in the microphone, I apologize. Hello, Deb Stark, excuse my language, Ed Barton, and I'm going to have to look again, sorry. Amber, I remember during COVID when only one council member was able to hold a public hearing, and it was like one of them. And I really appreciate that you are holding public hearings. I think it's very important that people can come and participate, share their perspectives, as you know about me, So what I wanted to say is a little bit different from some of the things I usually say. I sort of remembered something this morning, and it was about when I was a child, and I was born here in Phoenix, in central Phoenix. And, it was an interesting experience because it was the most urban of all the cities in Arizona, but in a way it wasn't super urban, And my mom was from California, right? And, so I had sort of aspirations of like a Phoenix girl in the 80s, right? Sometimes you want to go to Los Angeles and you want to be cool and whatever. And I thought of, when I was growing up, I thought of like a world-class city. I wanted to be in a world-class city, right? And at that point, I didn't feel that Phoenix was a world-class city. And eventually, I did get to go and do some graduate work in California and even in Los Angeles, and that was, wonderful. But of course, like many people, I returned to Phoenix because the cost of living in Los Angeles is too high. And I wanted to talk, just, put a phrase out there that I haven't put out there before, because I normally don't talk like this. So I'm talking on a completely different subject, which is housing homelessness. I just want to put out there that I appreciate that this budget is more, shall I say balanced, in terms of, priorities of human need, that are services that are beneficial to the economy, fiscally prudent, if you look for cost benefits, like I've, told. And I appreciate that you are keeping open human services programs that could otherwise disintegrate. A lot of the raised revenues and things like that, that was all federal from, ARPA and things like that. It's going to be a time of fairly austerity, and I think it's important for Phoenix to invest in all the things it needs to be a world-class city. And that's part of why I come here, you know? Because actually, in a lot of ways, I believe in Phoenix. I'm from here. I want it to be better. I've always wanted to be good. So, you know, thank you. And thank you for your support. I appreciate it a lot, okay?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next speaker is Adriana Garcia. No speaker? Wants to increase money for legal aid, eviction services, right to counsel, fixing streets in this neighborhood, and the Sunnyslope Community Center. Also, another card but does not wish to speak is Kevin Kronk. Increase access to legal aid during evictions and fixing streets and investing in walkability and bikeability of neighborhoods. And that is our final speaker. Councilwoman, do you have any closing comments that you would like to make?
I really want to thank everyone for being here, and I do want to thank staff. We do have a lot of staff here, and if you have any questions on any of the departments, this might be your chance to catch some of the staff and talk to them. But again, I appreciate all of you being here today. Thank you so much.
And again, thanks for coming out. And again, I appreciate your participation in your doing your civic duty to make sure that our budget is sound and meeting the needs of your community. Thank you.